Now, guys, let's now get to the other game that's on Tuesday, and that is the hometown Sacramento Kings. Even for the Celtics fans, it is their hometown. As the Kings host the Warriors in.
Did y'all see the damn prices for these playing tickets?
Oh my gosh, I was trying to go, but I was like,
I just my fault, Shaun. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Nothing like that. I was just looking up at the prices. Just I was like, oh, there's a playoff game tomorrow, right? So I'm just like looking at it, and I'm like, okay, but the first they showed me was $100, and I was like, okay, that's not bad. But then I looked at where you would be sitting at. You up there, you in heaven.
Your back is to the wall.
Your back is to the wall. You want to get a good seat like row 120 or section 120, $300 a pop. So Steph coming to town. It's a play-in. They're not even a playoff game. This is not even a playoff game. This is a play-in game. I can only imagine. Don't let the Kings win. Oh my God, don't let the Kings win. Them ticket prices go jump up $200 more for another play.
Definitely, and I think that just given the fact of what happened last year was obviously Kings fans just wanting to get a taste of a playoff atmosphere. It's the reason why I, as someone who is a struggling sports journalist, even shelled out nearly $500 to sit the second row to the top. I wasn't the very top. I was second row to the top, and I spent $482 on a ticket because I wanted to be there for game one. And I look back on it, I have no regrets. But, I mean, when I just put the experience of it aside, I think to myself, you really just spent that much money for that fucking seat. But, I, for one, will not be going to tomorrow's play-in game because, as Toddy said numerous times, it's the play-in, not the playoffs. And also, this is the third or fourth year that we've had this now. I don't know how the NBA has not figured out what we do with play-in stats. Because I remember vividly the first year of it when Jason Tatum dropped 50 points in a play-in game. It didn't fall into regular season stats, didn't fall into playoff stats. It's just out in the ether. He scored 50 points. I don't even know how to describe it. So we got to figure that out. But yeah, I won't be paying for those tickets. And the last thing I'll add on to Toddy's point is I get text messages. I'm like subscribed to the Kings like fast break alerts where if they can't sell tickets, then they send you a text message saying, hey, $25 for an Upper Bowl ticket for tomorrow night's game. I got a text message earlier, and Alex, I saw you shake your head. It looked like an agreement, so you might also get those same texts. But I got a text earlier that said, tomorrow's play-in game, $199 for a lower level ticket. Get it now. And I'm like, oh, this is what we're doing now? We're saying $200 is the cheapest we're going to get? Hell no. I will watch from the comfort of my couch behind me. That's what I will do. Anyways, guys.
Free of charge.
Right? Free of charge. And, I got my own stocked bar here, and I don't have to pay $20 for a beer. Anyways, getting to the game itself. Kevin, I'm going to start it with you rather than going to Boston first. I'm just wondering, how do you see this game turning out between the Kings and the Golden State Scrubs?
Take a deep breath, Kev.
We're going to light the fucking beam, Shaun. I know when you look at the overall season record between us, it's 2-2, but the four of us are all ball watchers, and we all remember when
one of those was
Kevin,
Klay Thompson.
The Klay Thompson shot, bro, when they didn't call Kevin Huerter a 2 versus a 3. So that really funked things up. We should be 3-1 against him, and I want everybody to know that's telling me, Kevin, well, what happened last year? This is a completely different Warriors team. Yes, the Kings are a different team in aspects from injury standpoint, but I think the Kings are going to get it done. De'Aaron Fox this year versus the Warriors, 33 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. So he is coming to play. He's on the Curry brand, so I know he looks to go when he plays against Steph Curry. The NorCal rivalry. Everyone's kind of looked at us as a joke last year, and people were saying, well, Kevin, last year you guys were the 3, now you're in the play-in, blah, blah, blah. You have to be worried at some point. And if it comes down to us losing to Steph Curry again, I'm going to come on here on Friday and lose my fucking mind. It cannot be another Game 7 50 ball. Like, it just can't come down to that. When everyone looks back at that series, we always talk about what could have been if Harrison Barnes made that shot. Kings go up 3-1 versus it being 2-2. It's a whole different game. So a lot of people want to say, Kevin, like Toddy says, what have you done for me lately? Let me tell you what this Kings have done for me lately. When Domantas Sabonis plays against the Warriors, he averages a triple-double. And Draymond Green played in 3 of those games. So a lot of people can say, oh, maybe Draymond wasn't there. He was there 3 or 4 of them, and all 4 of them were triple-doubles. So this team has been playing great. But the one stat that does kill me is in those 4 games, Malik Monk averaged 22 points. I looked at Kevin Huerter's stats, and he averaged 7. But, I didn't want to bring that up. But we're talking about the injury, so I had to. But I think as a holistic review, if we can stop Steph Curry, I don't think the rookie out of Santa Clara, I'm not even going to try to butcher his last name.
Just call him Pods. Just call him Pods.
Okay, I wasn't going to try to butcher his name.
It's Brandon Pajemski or however you pronounce it. But I heard in a press conference yesterday that all the Warriors media was just calling him Pods.
Makes sense. So I just think it's going to come down to depth, like I mentioned with the Lakers Pelicans. And once it depends what Klay Thompson we're going to get. If we get the first half of the season, Klay Thompson, is he going to get traded? What are they going to do about this big 3? And now towards the end of the season, it's like, all right, well, maybe Klay is revamped. So if Klay Thompson come off the bench and we can contain Klay Thompson, I think we have a great chance because I don't think Trace Jackson Davis is really going to be able to do anything. Draymond Green's not going to be able to do anything. And I think Kuminga is going to be in shambles. I know he's been one of their brighter spots, but I think Keegan Murray is honestly going to be in that ass. We've seen Kuminga really rise, but he's been really rocking. When you look at the numbers, it's 25, 25, 25, 25, 6, 9, 10. So he's a young guy. So what do you expect? They've had a lot of turmoil this year. So everyone is now looking at the Warriors as they finally came back down to earth, and now they've come to terms with who they are and what roles they have been given. And they think that they're going to be able to just tumble over us. Well, let me tell you this, everybody. The Kings are going to light that beam. And when we come in here on Friday, I'm going to get on Toddy's dome. Just let it be known.
I really look forward to that. And a couple things that I wanted to follow up on that Kevin said is, number one, everyone talking shit about the Kings going from 3rd to 8th. They literally had 2 less wins than last season. 2 less wins. And they did all that with injuries to Malik Monk, to Kevin Huerter, to Trey Lyles, to Sasha Veznikov. When last year, the only main injury was Domas breaking his thumb, or not breaking his thumb, but tearing ligaments in his thumb, playing through it. That was the Kings' injuries last year. They actually got bit by the injury bug this year. It sucks, but they still have a chance to get to the playoffs. And for that, I'm proud. And Kevin, it broke my heart when you mentioned that Game 4 shot because I went to that game at Chase Center. I wanted to experience a playoff road game.
Which was cheaper, by the way.
Oh, it was significantly
way cheaper, bro.
And I had a way better seat. I'm still in the nosebleeds, but I had a way better seat for more than half or less than half of what I spent to see it at Golden One Center. But oh my God, I could still see that shot rattling in and out of the rim, like from the nosebleeds in my brain. And it's still
lost money on that game.
Well,
yeah, hey, all the games we lost.
Is that why, Jaevon, is that why you're the number 1 player hater of the Sacramento Kings?
I heard Kevin say, what have you done for me lately, League? And I'm glad that he brought that up. Kings have lost 4 and 6 of their last 10 games. They have lost 4 of their last 5 to end the season. I even go back to just the summer, or like you're coming off of a heartbreaking Game 7 loss. Steph Curry just gave you 50 in Game 7. What do you do with this team? How do we get better? You know what Monty McNair said? He said, fuck free agency. We're bringing the same team back. We're re-signing Harrison Barnes. We're going to bring – everybody's coming back. Like, you didn't want to get better, do nothing. There's some guy – you could have argued it wouldn't have been the greatest free agency. That's a name that could have been out there. There are other guys, obviously, that were out there that you could have gotten. But then you kind of look at the West kind of just get better over time. Now, I realize this was before Bradley Beal signed with the Suns, but you saw that happen. Obviously, you had Kyrie already signed previously in that regular season. All-Star break, you saw that happen. So the West continued to get better while the Kings kind of just stayed the same. And I was always an advocate on saying you guys didn't want to make any type of moves to try and get your team better. And now, hey, I get that you guys, wherever you guys were before Kevin Huerter went down, before Malik Monk went down.
6.
6. So you guys were still kind of fighting for your lives a little bit, trying to stay out of the play-in at least. But we do realize that injuries are a part of the game. Not taking anything away from those guys, but it's a do or die. And the last time it was do or die for the Kings in a playoff setting, guess who they played? Stephen Wardell Curry. And guess what? He's coming back to Golden One Center tomorrow. And Steph Curry's the boogeyman for the Kings. I'll say that now.
No, the boogeyman is the boogeyman is CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum is the Kings boogeyman, and I say that with all due respect to Stephen Curry. But if you look at the averages,
Steph Curry is the boogeyman for the Sacramento Kings. When it comes down to it, I get it. Last year in the playoffs, you guys had chance after chance after chance to kind of put the Warriors away, but there's just something about that guy, number 30. Lost a lot of money betting on you guys last year. I'm not going to make that mistake again. So the wounded Kings are going to limp to Golden One tomorrow on primetime television, as it is the late game. And they're going to give it their best shot. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to have a tremendous game. Sabonis will probably have a triple-double. You can probably gamble on that and get plus odds. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's just going to get tighter. Who else are your other options besides De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis going to be your option scorer? Is it going to be Keegan Murray? You would hope it'd be Keegan Murray. You can only hope for so much. Is it going to be Harrison Barnes? I haven't seen that in a playoff setting. So you're kind of you're hoping. There's a lot of hope. Besides, you already know what your two guys are going to give you, and you're kind of just hoping that somebody else is going to give you something else. And I've seen this team win championships. I mean, they've knocked my team out in the championship setting. I've seen it. I'm not going to bet against Steph Curry in a do or die situation, so I'm rolling with the Warriors here.
But before we pass it to Alex, Tony, you said the last 8 games were what?
4 and 6.
4 and 6 last 10 games. So let me go ahead and rattle off these 10 games. Dallas, playoffs. Knicks, 2 seed. Celtics, 1 seed. Oklahoma City Thunder, 1 seed. Pelicans, playoff team. Suns, playoff team. So it's not like we're, losing to the Bobcats or the team down the way. We're not just out here getting smacked. You got to give us some respect. We lost to you guys by 1 point, and we lost to the Suns by 1 point. So that record looks really, really bad. And Toddy used my own term against me, so I had to look up the last few games. I know we've been really close, but
sounds like excuses to me.
It's the truth. You made it seem like we played the Nets 10 times and won 1-4. We didn't play the Nets 4 times. So I mean, you have to look at it with perspective. We're balling nowhere, Toddy.
All right, 4 and 6, limping.
Okay, so this is where everyone says that I'm like the most I don't want to say realistic, but maybe level-headed fan of all of us is Kevin. I hate to kill your point, but I have to do it because this is stats over politics, and I can't let this slip by. You mentioned the Knicks game. You mentioned the Thunder game. The Kings had 20-point leads on the road in both of those games, and they blew both of those leads. That's exactly why last week when I was talking with Garry at the end of last week's episode and we were looking ahead to the final 3 games, Garry was like, we're winning all 3 as the optimistic Kings fan. Meanwhile, I'm the opposite. I'm a pessimistic Kings fan. I said we would go 1 and 2, and that's exactly what they did because the Kings are going to king or Kangs. So anyways, Alex, I wanted to toss it to you next because I know that we got you for about another 20 minutes, so we want to get through this play-in tournament and then get to the playoff matchups that have actually been set. But are you going to show your hometown some love, or should you just move to the Bay Area?
I'm not betting against Stephen Curry. I'm sorry. I just think the Warriors. The Warriors' only offense is Steph Curry. And I feel like the Kings kind of relied on a group of individuals, but I feel like with Malik Monk being kind of the main one that got injured, I'm really interested to see who steps up. I'm not gonna. It depends on how you guard Steph Curry and if he blows up, and if we're gonna get a Game 6 Klay Thompson. If you get a Game 6 Klay Thompson and you can't stop Steph, obviously the Kings are going to go home with the L. So
Boxing one.
I honestly just throw all the guys at him. I just don't know about Clay, but I am going to say the Warriors. But to your point, though, I just saw this stat, and it was like the first time in history that 10 teams in the Western Conference are over 500, and that's excluding the Memphis Grizzlies this year. So I understand like the Kings being like third last year to 9 with only 2 missed game, like 2 game difference, but like the West is going to be stacked. I mean, like you got Houston on the uprise. I don't know what they're cooking down in San Antonio right now. Like
Aliens.
the West is
Aliens.
difficult. Like,
Aliens.
like, I don't want. If I was like someone in the draft, I'd be like, just draft me to the Eastern Conference team. Like, I don't want to fight in my life for the West. So, yeah.
Yeah, Toddy, as you would like to say, it's cold world for the Sacramento Kings. But hey, at least they broke that 16-year playoff drought.